atheistic
society, right?
And especially like religion, like even if you're spiritual, but there's kind of, you have an opposition to
with religion.
Religion, it's like the religions are the structures that have created the prayer.
Yeah.
Right. But what I realized is that actually I used to use prayer, and I still do to some degree, in a very kind of practical way. And I don't think you need to believe in a God at all, or even a spiritual force, for it to be very powerful in your life. Because you can actually use it in a very kind of almost like business type manner, where you're taking stock of your life. So I see it as it can be like a SWOT analysis.
Like strengths, weaknesses, actions, and
opportunities and threats.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, opportunities and threats. Yeah.
So your strengths are basically. So you say.
It's been a while since I've done a SWOT analysis.
So if you do a SWOT analysis of your life, and
that's exactly
as
what
a prayer in the morning. Yeah. So you wake up and you say, "These are my strengths.
I'm
thankful for them.
Yeah.
These are my weaknesses. Please give me the power. To evolve them, to make the most of my opportunities. Allow me to see my opportunities and transform them, and help me to be conscious of my threats and abilities to kind of, use my strengths to combat them."
This makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, this is surprisingly a lot of sense for something that just sounded so ridiculous a moment ago. This is so good. Yeah.
So I think it would be really nice if we could actually get people to start praying in a way that doesn't necessarily have to
pray to
have
something.
some deity or mystical being.
Yeah.
It's just like actually
taking stock of your life. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel my day can be so much more focused then, because I actually understand
who you are, right?
Who I am, what's in my life, and what I'm gearing things towards.
And
so
also,
a lot of times
and what headspace you're in that morning, right? Because your strengths and weaknesses maybe change quite often based on how you're feeling that morning.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you say what you want from your life, where you want to go, and you ask for the kind of courage and patience to go in that way.
Also, being aware of your opportunities is a big thing. Yeah, I'm not always aware of what opportunities are on offer for me.
Yeah.
You do that every morning?
Pretty much. I try to. Yeah. So I do like a series. I do a meditation, a prayer like this sort of prayer.
Yeah.
And what we call tasbih. In our religion, it's tasbih. Okay. It's basically just reciting names of Allah. Normally, it'll just be saying shukran or thank you 100 times.
So that's really interesting, because most people would just associate that last bit with prayer, but you associate the whole process.
Well, I guess the meditation's different, but the energy is the same. You're just trying to bind to some ethereal or spiritual force. The shukran is also binding to that force, but binding to gratitude.
Yeah.
And the other part of the prayer is, well, for me, it's centered in gratitude. I'll have 3 parts of a prayer normally. One is saying thank you.
Yeah.
The other one is help me to use all that I have to become the man I want to be.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Whatever that may be in that. And then the third one is help people, close to me and far out from me find peace within their struggles or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The last one I struggle a bit with sometimes, and I've moved in and out of that, because I'm do I really have, sometimes if somebody's going through some struggle, I'll ask, please don't let this happen to them, or keep them away from danger or something. And I feel like it feels to some degree a bit arrogant to be asking God to do something for somebody else.
Yeah.
Or even to ask something for me.
Yeah, but that's so much of what prayer is, isn't it? We're asking God often to take care of others more than ourselves.
Yeah. And it's when we start praying when people are in hospital.
Yeah, exactly.
People are dying and these
to help them. Yeah.
Yeah. But for me, some part of, I do pray in these moments, but I just also think I've gone in and out of this last section of whether I'm asking for something for other people.
Yeah. Because I think that's quite a traditional type of prayer, isn't it? Asking for other people.
Yeah. But maybe I don't ask for such categoric things. I just ask for them to find peace in their circumstances.
Yeah. Yeah, and right. I like that concept. But still, this is very different to how I was brought up on prayer. So I went to a Protestant private school, and we would recite the Lord's Prayer every day, every morning. And I never really understood the point of that,
Yeah.
I didn't really feel any attachment. It felt like, we were just doing it for the sake of doing it.
Yeah, and it's maybe like a discipline. It feels like you're just getting school children to shut up and sit down.
Yeah, exactly, and recite something that they know.
Yeah.
But we're not actually binding to any god or anything like that.
But I think there's so much stuff in school that we just think is just nonsense and we just want to play.
Yeah.
And then when we grow up, we're just like, man, I wish I paid attention in class.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I think your notion of prayer in terms of like a SWOT analysis, and that our prayer is so much... So I like the idea that your prayer is so personal. Because like what I found about the Lord's Prayer was that it was just so impersonal. Like we're all just saying the same thing. And I found that very impersonal. Whereas in your type of prayer, and in my type, like when we're just saying thank you for what, like our lives or whatever, that's like a really personal...
Yeah, but I think it's important to have both. I think it's important to have a prayer in which you're conscious of, it's not autonomic. You're conscious of the things that you're asking for, that you're very like present in this thing. So it's from a very personal point. And then another prayer.
Yeah. So what's the purpose of that other prayer?
A sense of submission, I think, a more powerful sense of submission. And if we talk about decentralization, it's about
submitting yourself to
things. And also a communal prayer, I think, is very powerful because of. I mean, you can go into loads of stuff, and I don't know what's true and stuff, but about like sonic resonance and this power of like so many people saying the same thing. Like if you go
like a mantra or like a chant, right?
Yeah. I don't know what happens in the
it's just same in Hindu temples with like bhajans and stuff. Like everyone will sing the same songs and stuff.
Yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah,
right?
It's powerful.
When you go into this room where it's just everybody's in synchronicity singing the same thing.
Yeah, and it really resonates actually. Yeah, okay.
Like we do zikr tasbih, and it's just like when they do it, it's just amazing.
Yeah,
and you just 33 times you sing
something
this
like overtakes over you. Yeah. It's the same with like Hanuman Chalisas. You sing it like 108 times, but it really takes over. You get really into it. Yeah,
and like I don't know.
But you're right. Is that submission? Yeah, you're right. It's very submission.
Yeah, like the Lord's Prayer. We did the Lord's Prayer in school. Like, this is also nuts that like Hindu and a Muslim went to a Protestant school.
Yeah.
And I had to go to chapel every day.
Yeah, okay. Luckily, we only twice a week, but every day seems overkill.
Well, no, I think it's really great, but we didn't. I don't feel like we were taught the essence of it.
That's what I'm saying. Like for them to not actually be teaching it, every day seems overkill.
Yeah, maybe like not teaching.
Like to not actually teach anything yet.
Yeah, but I guess I mean it's just boring. It's just like it's just 2 minutes more before we get to eat.
What
is this nonsense? Right?
Yeah. I think I might start praying before I eat now, actually. But people will just think I'm copying you. It'd just be like, you're just being Ilyas.
Okay. Well, then maybe I have changed my prayer. And then
yeah, but I do like the idea of being grateful for what the food is in front of me. It might make me more likely to cook, or it may. Yeah, I don't know actually.
But why didn't you say it now? Just because it just doesn't cross your mind.
This doesn't cross my mind. Yeah.
And I think this is like it just doesn't cross people's mind to do this, and I think that's maybe the sadder thing. Yeah,
but what's interesting is like what you're saying makes perfect sense. Like we should be grateful for the food that we eat, but you're taking it one step further and actively showing that gratitude. And I think people are grateful for the food that they eat, but they very rarely show that gratitude.
Yeah. So, and I think this is also, there's this thing between religion and a lot of people talk about religion and morality.
Yeah.
And that, we don't need religion in order to be moral.
People, yeah.
But I think that's maybe a kind of, I don't think that's really what we should be talking about. I don't think, like, in today's society, we do need religion to be more moral. But what nobody talks about is virtue. And I think that when it comes to for me, it's just categoric. Somebody who bows down and prays, says thank you 5 times a day, is bound to be a more grateful person than somebody who doesn't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And also, I'm not saying that you have to be religious in order to have that level of gratitude, but you have to, these rituals or these sort of systems or structures or whatever, whether they're created by some organized force or by yourself, have a huge impact on how we develop as like beings.
No, I really do. That really does resonate with me, that view. Because I do struggle to show gratitude outside of that prayer.
Yeah. Well, I think with a lot of these things,
saying thank you to something.
I think a lot of these things is that, like with meditation and stuff, is that you isolate moments from, your day in order to cultivate this gratitude or create this gratitude. But from doing so regularly, it begins to overflow into the non-gratitude elements of your day.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you take time out of your life to focus on this God consciousness, or this gratitude, and it makes you overall a more grateful person. But it's a process, right? It doesn't just overflow
naturally, straight away, right? Yeah. No, I do really agree with that. And actually, I do think I have become more grateful, sort of reconnected with Hinduism in the last year or so, since my grandma passed away, and I feel like I've become more grateful. I think maybe that's because of the process that you were talking about, actually. Or maybe I'm just more aware of things that I should be grateful for.
But I think it's really interesting how gratitude comes into people's lives a lot after suffering.
Yeah.
And it sounds kind of ironic because the thing that is while your life was all hunky-dory, you were never thankful for it.
You're never thankful, yeah.
But when life hits the fan, then you become thankful.
Then you become thankful, yeah.
But I think that's maybe because you realize how much you take for granted the easy parts of life.
Well, like the food.
And
how much food I take for granted, right?
And then when you see your grandmother or your cousin or whatever in the hospital, and they, peeing through a catheter or whatever, or they can't actually eat, they're just eating liquid food, or, and then you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting here eating this steak and
peeing freely.
Yeah, peeing freely, and you're just like, wow, this is fucking amazing that I can do this.
Yeah. So what's interesting is that you have this morning prayer, and yet you still feel the need to pray before every meal. It's interesting that you feel the need to do your gratitude several times a day, rather than just one.
But it's really very little, and I miss it a lot.
That's
I really don't feel that I'm as grounded in this
reality.
As much as I'd like to be.
Maybe as much as I'm portraying in this podcast, because I'm making it sound like you pray before eating anything that touches your mouth. So let's be ridiculous for a moment. So be grateful for food and all of these things. But what about sex? Say next time you're about to have sex, you stopped. Maybe just after the foreplay, before the actual intercourse, and you stopped and said a prayer, like a thank you prayer.
Yeah.
How do you think that would go down? Because that is something we should be grateful for.
Before you orgasm, or I always pray before I orgasm.
Yeah, obviously that goes without saying. But before any penetration.
Before any penetration. But shouldn't it be at each moment? Once you're
every stage of the foreplay. Yeah, okay, but then fine. Yeah, however way you interpreted that question, however way you would want to do it.
I feel like when you're a teenager, before when sex is this really grand thing, you're suddenly in the bathroom and then you're shaking and then you're like, dear God, thank you for this, but please help me, and
okay, no. What's an even better question is after sex, I never say thank you. I never show we hug maybe, and then there's that gratitude there, it's implied, but we never actually say thank you for that
to each other.
Yeah, to each other.
I do.
Do you?
That. Yeah, often.
You say thank you.
They're like, why are you saying thank you?
Yeah, exactly. But what is that the reaction when really you're just showing gratitude?
Yeah. I'm saying, well, I want you to say thank you as well. I was also. I'm not saying this was a one-way thing. Right?
Yeah. But that's really interesting. I think it's a really interesting space.
Yeah. No, it is true. And I think this is also the interesting thing with religion, because I was talking to somebody the other day. It's about. Do you say Bismillah before you drink a bottle of wine?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I don't know. I think this could maybe be seen very blasphemous.
Yeah.
But I think if you are Muslim, and for whatever reason you've decided to drink, if you're going to drink, you shouldn't isolate this from your notion of God existing.
Yeah.
Right. So I think you should say thank you for that. But it just feels like maybe for a lot of people, you shouldn't be drinking, so
you can't say thank you.
You can't say thank you to that, or you can't. You're trying to keep God on the side of that. So I'm doing these ungodly behaviors to keep God on the side, and it's before you have sex, you turn your picture of Jesus upside down.
Yeah.
Right?
No. I turn my picture of Mahatma Gandhi.
Up, but you've got thousands of gods right here, so and then people are like, "What are you doing?"
I'm the god of sex. Yeah.
But I think. Yeah.
So that's interesting. So Polly was saying she was in the north of Sudan, and it was Ramadan, and she came across these Muslim, there's a few Muslims, and they were all